Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to In the Kitchen with Tally Faye. Hope everybody's doing all right this afternoon. It's done turned cold again. So here we are with the crazy Texas weather. What was it? 80, almost 80 yesterday, 78, something like that. And now, I don't even know what it is. I just know it's cold. I'm in for the evening. I'm not going back out. But anyway, this evening, we are going to put together a skillet of hamburger steaks with gravy and onions in it. Do you know how to make gravy? I have a lot of people asking me that. So I'll show y'all how to make gravy to smother these hamburger steaks in. And that's one of the things you can, fix real easy for your family in the evening. If you're in a, coming in late or whatever and stuff and you need to whip out something for them, or whatever, you can absolutely make a skillet of hamburger steaks for them and do some potatoes or something or whatever to go with it, and rice, things like that. But what I have here is, let me pull y'all closer, get you closer on it. Do this. I have in my bowl 2 pounds of hamburger meat, and I think I've told y'all this before. I get the hamburger meat that it's got good fat in it, but it's not a lot. I don't even have to drain it. But it's not the extra lean either. I do not like the extra lean. I don't like that meat. I want some fat in there, but this meat is good. We get it from the butcher, and so we're spoiled to eating it. I mean, it's just delicious. But you use whatever you have on your hamburger meat, and if it's got fat in it and it cooks out, drain some of it out. But you're gonna have to leave a few tablespoons in there for you to make your gravy with, for you to brown that flour. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. So I have 2 pounds of hamburger meat in here, all right? I'm going to take and add, y'all know these little, let me put my hand on, there we go. These little boxes of this stuff, the onion soup mix stuff. That stuff is good. It has everything in it you need to make something taste good. Since I have 2 pounds of hamburger meat, I'm going to add 1 whole pack. But if you were just doing 1 pound, I would split it because it's salty. It's salty, and you might stump your toe, as I always say, with the salt factor thing with these. But really, to me, this is nothing but onion powder in here, and I have onion powder in my cabinet. If I don't have this, I just use onion powder. But what I love in this is the dehydrated onion pieces, and that makes this hamburger steak delicious. So that's why I try to make that, have this. I always try to have this in my cabinet, and you can buy the off-brands and stuff. But anyway, it's onion powder with dehydrated onion flakes in it is what it is, okay? But I'm going to put a whole pack of that in with my 2 pounds of hamburger meat. I'm going to just pepper to taste, kind of like. Just shake you some pepper off in there. And even though I'm talking about it's salty, you always add a little bit, just to make you feel better, okay? We're going to put a little bit of salt in there. And it's going to be the same thing with this Worcestershire sauce. I call it Worcester, but I get picked on about it, so I'll say Worcestershire. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. It's Worcester sauce to me. But anyway, I'm going to shake it up real good. And I'm just going to pour some in there. If you have the shaker lid on it, you'd shake it in there, right? But I just probably put in there about 1/4 cup. Just went in there with that 2 pounds of hamburger meat, okay? So I've got Worcestershire sauce, salt, pepper, and the onion soup mix. And that's all I'm going to do with it right now. So what I'm going to do now, I want y'all to see pretty much how much oil I have in here, which is, there you go, you can see it. See, it's just, it'll move around in there, so it's covering the pan good because I want it to brown the outside of my meat patties really well. So I'm going to go ahead while I'm stirring that up and get my skillet getting hot. And I'll just take my hands, I'm just going to stir it up. Use your hands, that's what they're for. I don't think nothing will mix better than your hands. You can feel it, you can see it, you can work it, and just stir it all up in there. Alright, I've got it mixed up. Now, when you're doing this for your family, and I used to do this back when the kids were home and everything, I would split 1 pound of hamburger meat up to into 3 patties. So like this 2-pound thing, I'd get 6 patties out of here. 6 hamburger steaks. But with Buzz, I try to make them a little bit bigger and thicker. I'm going to use my plastic board because I don't want to put that meat on the wooden one. So I'm going to just take this and I'm going to split it up. I think I got sidetracked. With Buzz, I make 2 patties out of 1 pound. So it makes a bigger, thicker steak, right? Hamburger steak. So I'm going to get 4 hamburger steaks out of this 2-pound thing of hamburger meat. So there we go. I got them pretty much like I want them there. I'm just going to do them in a ball. That one's a little big. Put some out of there. Work it back in there. Okay, so now I'm just going to pat them out where they're kind of big and thick like a steak. You know, it's going to be hamburger steak. But like I say, you make them in thirds if you're cooking for your family. The kids don't need a big old steak like this, you know. That's a lot of hamburger meat. A ½ pound is a lot of meat. So we're going to do it like this. And I'm going to show you something else I do. I have my bowl of flour that I use all the time. This is my one with all-purpose flour in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of this flour. I'm going to sprinkle it on the outside of this patty. Get it kind of spread out on there a little bit. It's just real light. But when I put this in that grease, that's going to give it a really good help with a nice crunch on it, right? Alright, let me sprinkle this side. My grease is getting hot. I smell it getting hot over there. So we're going to get these in there and get them to cooking. Alright. Can you see my skillet over there? Okay, let me... Whoops. Oh, Lord, I'm having fumble fingers. Okay, alright. I'm just going to take these 4 patties and I'm going to put them in this hot grease over here. And my finger too. That hurt. I'm going to have to squeeze these big suckers in this 10-inch skillet. If you do 2 pounds, you might get you a bigger skillet than what I've got. Like I said, I'm using my 10-inch one, and I should have used a bigger one. I've got them crammed down in there a little bit more than I want to. But, you get some water on this. Got me some dishwater over here in this sink. Now, the thing about it is, while those are cooking, all I'm doing is browning the outside of them. I'm not trying to get them cooked in the middle. I'm just wanting to put kind of a seared crust on the outside of them, right? So, which that doesn't take long. So what I'm gonna do while that's happening is get me, what knife do I want? I'll just get this little one here. I'm going to get me 1 whole onion. Get me 1 whole onion here. I'm going to cut it up. Get that outer layer off of there. Let me wash him off. Okay. Alright. And I'm going to cut this in, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. It makes it go further if you cut it in half and cut, you want kind of fat chunks like with it. So, but if you cut it in half, you get more pieces out of it rather than doing just the circles in the whole onion. So I would cut it in half and then do your fat slices, right? So we're going to have this cut up and ready. Get my onion stuff out of my way. Okay. Now what we're going to do is let that get browned, okay? Let that kind of brown a little bit. And the next thing we're going to work on, we've got our onion cut up and ready. And if I had them, and I really hate the fact that I don't have them, but I want some fresh mushrooms. But Buzz loves mushrooms in this. Now listen, if you don't want mushrooms in it, don't put them in it. If you don't want onions in it, don't put them in it. I just can't imagine, but I understand. But the onions are just necessary to me. However, if you don't want to put onion in it, don't do it. So we've got an onion. And if I had one of those little, I don't know what size, what weight that is, but anyway, one of those little square tubs of the fresh mushrooms, I would have them, washing them and slicing them up in big slices. And I'll leave the stems on mine. We eat the stem, cap, and all with ours, right? And I would just be slicing them up and getting me a pile of mushrooms ready. But instead, I'm going to use 2 of these little cans here of these mushroom stems and pieces, and it's the little cans, right? So I'm going to take them and drain them and have them ready. Let me drain the juice out of them. I've got to have some mushrooms in here. Those would be disappointed, but you do not have to put mushrooms in there. You don't. The onions and gravy are seriously good enough. They really are. But these little old mushrooms add another thing, a texture to the gravy, and you know, going over your meat and all that stuff, and you can taste these, but not like you can a fresh mushroom. I guarantee you. You can't beat a fresh one. If you love mushrooms, you will love that. Okay, I'm already ready to flip this over. Let me put it on a little spatula I love so much. There it is. I'll show y'all this silly little old spatula I love. This thing is little, and I love it. Look how little it is compared to, you know, it's a little spatula. But this little booger, I can handle stuff with it. I love it for frying eggs. I love it for frying eggs. But it's a stout one, and you can scrape a pan if you need to scrape the goodie and stuff or something off of it. Scrape something. And it's like getting under these patties in here. I can get under. Anyway, I love this little old thing. I got me some other spatulas, of course, but this here is my go-to spatula. Alright. I've got them browned on here. Alright, we're going to let them brown. And like tonight with this, you know, like I was talking about doing mashed potatoes or something like that, you know. This is great if you have leftover potatoes and stuff going on or whatever. Like for me tonight, I did that au gratin potato dish the other night. So I still have half of that big old dish because it was a huge dish, right? I still have half of that, so I'm going to take those au gratin potatoes and put them in one of my little Corningware dishes and put a little milk over them, you know, and kind of move them around a little bit in that milk and put a lid on it. And I can either put them in the microwave or in the oven and let them suckers revive themselves, and they'll be as good as they were when I fixed them, not last night, but the night before. So we're going to do the au gratin potatoes with it and the meat and gravy, and then I'm going to build us a delicious salad from the Texas U.S. Farms vegetables that I get. And I still have my last of my beautiful lettuce. I had butter lettuce. What was it? Butter lettuce, red oak leaf, and another one. Oh, the romaine. Yeah, I had those 3 lettuces, and Buzz loved that. He loved that. So I'm going to cut all that up together. So we'll have hamburger steaks with mushrooms and gravy, au gratin potatoes, you know, leftovers from the refrigerator, and a big old pretty salad fresh from Texas U.S. Farms that I got the vegetables from, and we'll have us a wonderful supper in this old cold evening. We'll be set up in here like old bears after we get through with that. After I get through doing this video, I'm going to make, oh, I did leave it out. I'm going to make a buttermilk pie. So when this video is done here with the hamburger steaks and gravy, I'm going to do a buttermilk pie one immediately following this one. So that's going to be our dessert, is buttermilk pie, homemade buttermilk pie. Okay. It's all good, right? Eating good in the neighborhood. Now, this is probably getting close enough. I'm going to get me a plate, and I'm going to take these steaks up out of here, and then I'm fixing to show you how to do this gravy. Turn that off because it's hot. But see just how they're just browned on the outside, but we know that big old hunk of meat is not done in that time period, right? And besides that, we're going to cover this in that gravy and turn the fire down real low and just let it simmer while I'm doing the rest of my housework or whatever, right? Or getting prepared to make the, no housework. I'm going to be making a pie. That's what I'm going to be doing. Making a pie. But I have, ooh, that pepper and stuff's strong. Let me see. I'm going to bring my phone over here so y'all can see this up close. It's too hard to explain on that.